promised you I watched this football practice today. I said this about our Sam Williams not wearing that knee brace, right?
Yes.
I noticed that right off the jump.
It's great news. I mean, we're almost a year removed from that injury.
Yeah, but I wonder if he's going to wear it during the season. But today at practice, he did not have it on. The practice was indoors, and trust me, I was grateful. Yeah, I didn't. You'd
be sweating.
I knew you would be.
I would be kind of musty right now if that was the case.
It's also a better view for practice, I think.
I was sitting up there pretty high, and was just hanging out there. But I got to see a lot more of the individual stuff today. But they did do some things in team, just a little bit of team, some 2-minute stuff, and then they did some red zone stuff. So it was a good practice to kind of get. Now, things I've noticed. First off, they are working Lamb and our little guy.
Turpin. Or Deuce Vaughn.
No. Vaughn actually ahead of Blue.
The Littles?
Wow.
Right now. Like when they went to some two work, they put Vaughn ahead of Blue in some of those opportunities. Now I don't know if it was one of those things. Now
I wouldn't panic. I would not panic about that.
I think this is the thing because we saw with what Bobby was talking about yesterday with Ferguson. I think they are just playing with the lineup a little bit because you did see Ferguson back today, getting a little bit more. But the thing is with Span Ford, is that, and we were talking about him and catching the football.
Mm-hmm.
It's still what it is. It's
not natural.
It's not. And they do this drill where they have these bags with these extended like pads for arms.
Uh-huh.
And so he has to come around the pad and then, he just doesn't look comfortable doing it. It's just like he's kind of fighting himself a little bit.
It's hard
catching the ball.
Got to become one with the pigskin, man.
But Ferguson, some couple nice, really little seam plays down there that were really good.
This is his game.
But if I could go back, like I say, they were practicing some toss. Okay, here I'm about to get in trouble here.
Lamb and Turpin toss?
Yeah. Like, you're thinking, okay, well, here's going to be that, put that big number, put the big wide receivers out there and just let them crack down inside. Crack toss stuff like
now you
that.
Got Mingo out there.
Mingo, yeah. Remember how Mingo on the edge and then get
one of your better blockers.
Get those guys.
Is this like end around toss or is this like out of the backfield?
This is like lined up like in an eye and then just toss it.
Cool.
And you're like,
well, you saw that with Turpin at the end of last year when they made him like a tailback.
They were a couple of times where they just handed him the ball.
Yeah.
And it was to the line of scrimmage and through. Yeah. And you're like going, all right, here we go. I like what we're doing here.
Yeah, I like that.
But I will say this. How about our guy Thomas, the guard that from
Nate Thomas, Louisiana.
He was playing backup right tackle today.
Well, okay, so he was a tackle. And then, I was
going to ask you about that because we saw him.
Yeah, I liked his tape at tackle, but I just figured. Last year he moved into guard. So but that's interesting. Maybe he's a guy that can compete for some swing opportunity.
Yeah, because he was playing as that right tackle. I thought, well, they're going to plug him in and let him play some guard
because they've got an overflow of guards now with the addition of Robert Jones.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
That is absolutely right. All right. So we've got wide receivers doing some of the stuff in the backfield right now, and I think that's something you're gonna continue to see right there. Today, I'll tell you what, man, it is when you watch when they get down in the goal line, what they're gonna do here is they're gonna use Pickens. And they're going to use Lamb to the same side is what they're going to do.
As they should.
Today, Pickens was the underneath guy. Lamb was the underneath guy. Pickens was the over-top corner guy.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're taking advantage of Pickens' ability to go get the football.
Uh-huh.
Vertical.
So he's going pylon.
So
back
pylon guy where Lamb is next to him, but working under and kind of the pivot routes. When I say like in out routes, he's the guy that's kind of doing that today. So it's like it was just those two working, and with Dak, and this was during the special teams drill. And I was just sitting there watching them, and they never put Pickens inside. They always put Lamb inside, and he was always going to be that guy. And they were actually working a couple of times where he was at the goal line and they just hit him quick. It's just that kind of like, and then he sat on the ground, and quarterbacks threw him balls like they were like, get to a spot, get down, and just throw it to the ground.
Okay.
To locate. So he ran a route, then came and then caught a ball. Then the next one, he just stopped and sat on the ground. And all three quarterbacks took turns throwing him the ball, like trying to put it in a spot where maybe like we get down the goal line and he's going to just pivot inside and you just hit him quick, and he's going to get down in that. But it is clear that they want Pickens to be the guy that working the back in the end zone and working to the corner of it. And I think it's because of his ability to go get the football.
Totally.
Makes sense.
Playing to his strengths.
CeeDee's naturally the guy that creates more separation.
Yeah, absolutely like that. All right. When I was watching some of the stuff they were doing on defense here. We'll talk about that a little bit. Another, pretty decent day for our guy Elam. And what they tried to do was like they tried to take him on this vertical route, and he was running the route, but it was with Tolbert. So it wasn't somebody that's got like this explosive speed down the field. It was like Tolbert's out wide. Here's Elam. He's gonna carry him off the line, turn, and then this is the first play of 2 minutes with Dak. He's gonna try and launch the ball down the right sidelines. And Hooker was in the middle of the field. Hooker was a little late to adjust. That's kind of what Hooker does. Little late to adjust. But Elam with really good position inside to be able to keep the ball from, the ball was too far down the field, but he's step for step with Tolbert. There was another time where they tried to throw the ball inside to Lamb, and Elam was inside on that one and knocked the ball down. So there were a couple different times where Elam was having to carry routes down the field. And one of them, again, against the slower Tolbert, which you can run with Tolbert. But Lamb from the outside trying to get to the inside. They tried to isolate. What they did was they put Span Ford on the outside. So they tried to create width in the middle of the defense. And they put CeeDee inside with kind of like at a reduced look. Remember we were talking about playing down and tight? So he's going to run. They're going to try and create space with some width by moving the tight end and that. But nice job by Elam being able to carry the route from the inside. Like they took the linebacker, actually took McQuamu. They were playing some dime stuff, 6 defensive backs. And they were using McQuamu as a dime linebacker. And he was picking up tight ends is what he was doing.
I like that, okay.
And Hall, the other
North
corner,
Texas Main Grain,
he was playing as the nickel. So when they went with the starters, Hall was the nickel on these packages and stuff like that. But they were trying to isolate CeeDee one-on-one with Elam, and Elam was able to make the play. So, he's
showing up every practice.
That's encouraging for sure.
Maybe it's something with the media practices. I don't know. The other practices, he might be terrible. But you do see, it was nice to see him carry a couple of different routes. But it was also good to see a little bit of creativity of trying down on the goal line to be able to get Pickens and Lamb on the same side and allow them to work. Maybe, like I say, Lamb a little bit underneath and then Pickens towards the back of the end zone as well.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you.